Hello, I'm Brian, owner of Carolina Metal Masters. We are a shop here in Denver, North Carolina, full service shop. We do lifts of all kinds. We're a full on CNC house as well. We've got our own entire line of products that we do put out specifically for the Jeep JK. Anywhere from grab handles, grab bars. We do custom billet light locks, underseat compressor brackets. We've got our own entire steering. It's got a lifetime guarantee on the steering. It's virtually indestructible. I had gone to Jeff several years ago, and we discussed what we could possibly do shock-wise, and the lights came on pretty bright in his eyes, back to the off-road and back to the dirt. So through a long chain of developments, we now have what is specifically built for the Jeep JK market. There's a lot of cheap alternatives on the market. You're going to have issues of wheel hop, and wheel hop leads in and induces broken parts and torn up everything else that you have. A really refined and tuned shock will make probably one of the greatest differences in your off-road experience as to anything else that there is. One of the nice benefits that we really like about this shock, it uses spherical bearings in the eyelet, on the chassis end and on the axle end. Most shocks come with a rubber bushing in there, so you've got an isolation per se to the fast little twitchy movements that you might see. With this, without the level of shock that this is, that would transmit right back into the chassis, and it would cause a very abrupt and abrasive ride. The other issue that you see with the rubber bushings is they deteriorate over time, and then you end up with a really harsh ride after that. With the spherical bearings, we also get more free articulation. What I mean by that is the shock itself is not bound up against the rubber to get the articulation out of it that we need. It's a nice, free, and smooth movement. On the off-road side of the world, you've got what we really consider high speed and low speed, and that's not necessarily attributed to vehicle speed. It's the movement of the shaft, the speed at which the shaft moves. When you're driving down the highway, just going over slow ebbs and flows of the road, that would be low speed. Hitting a really sharp square edge bump like that leads into a bridge, something sort of like that on the highway, that would be high speed movement. A lot of the other shocks that are on the market, they do one thing well or do the other thing well. If you're rock crawling, you've got very slow movements in shock travel. We transition, we want to be able to do a little bit of everything. We want to be able to drive it to the trail and then wheel as hard as we want, slow speed rock crawling or high speed fire roads, and then be able to turn around and drive it home. It's a nice benefit with this having compression adjustability. We can run around on a setting of 1, which is very soft when we're in the dirt and playing. Depends on whether if we're on, like, say, slow rock crawl side. If we get into fire roads and the other such, then we'll crank the thing up and get a little bit more high speed compression dampening. And then when we go back to head it back to the house, go back to a 1 setting, and it's just very nice and plush on the highway.